Welcome to the Blue Moon Listener Lounge on Idaho's 94.9 The River. I would like everybody here to give a warm welcome to Matt Maeson. Hi, Matt.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. Yourself?
Doing good. Tired.
I bet. You've been all over the place. I think we should talk about that. I got to meet you this year in Boulder at a music conference. And I want to talk about that a little later on just to see what that experience was like for you, because you were in sort of an interesting position there. But I want to ask, what's been going on with you since Boulder and the music convention?
Since that, we got back in the studio for a couple of weeks, almost finished up with the record, and then headed out on this radio tour. Yeah. So we did about 3.5 weeks. Had a week and a half off, and now we've been on for another week and a half.
Really grateful that you could come to town. Congratulations on the 2 EPs that are out there right now. One's called Who Killed Matt Maeson? The other is called The Hearse, and you can find those online at all your music places. And as you mentioned, you're working on an album. That's going to come out next year, and there'll be a physical edition of that as well, right?
Yes.
Nice.
First physical edition.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think what I would like to do is just start with a song and then come back and talk a little bit more about who you are so we can introduce you to our listeners.
Sounds good, man. This one's called Me and My Friends Are Lonely. To you, me and my friends are lonely, and I don't know what to do. I always figured I'd be the one to die alone. I cope smothered in smoke, dehydrate my soul, and I know things that you don't. I've met murdering folk, and they took one of our own. They took our innocent home, so I can't open up to you. Me and my friends are lonely, and I don't know what to do. I always figured I'd be the one to die alone. So is there any lesson in confessing that you posted up like Jesus on the corner selling baggies full of blessing? Is it stressing all the things that you have morally accepted? Is it vexing wearing clothes that you have bled in? Picture perfect victim, overwhelmed and so sadistic. I was looking for a purpose with a chance to hit some witch on the street when I forgot the city breeze. When I do not, if I leave, it does not stop here, no. So is there any treason in the tricky little price I paid? Oh, is there any treason in the tricky little price I paid? I can't open up to you. Me and my friends are lonely, and I don't know what to do. I always figured I'd be the one to die alone.
You are listening to Matt Maeson live on Idaho's 94.9 The River. We are really excited to have him join us in town for the first time. This is generally where I say, hey, here's the show tonight. Not really the case this time. Matt came in to introduce themselves to our listeners here. And we'll have an update on something happening a little bit later on this afternoon before this session is over. Matt's got 2 EPs you can find online, Who Killed Matt Maeson and The Hearse. But before we get to the music, I want to backtrack for a moment. Is it fair to say that, I don't imagine there's too many people that have had the upbringing that you had?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I keep being told is very unique, but actually living it, I was just like...
This was life.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing everybody thinks is crazy is that I started playing live music in prisons. My parents have a prison ministry. They still do it to this day.
Oh, they do? I was going to ask you that.
Yep. And I started doing that when I was 17, and I did it for about 3 years, and then decided I want to be a rock star.
Well, was it true you weren't really allowed to listen to anything other than Christian music for a while?
Yeah, until I was old enough to rebel, which was around like 14 or 15. The first secular record I got was Linkin Park. And it was Hybrid Theory. And my parents were very upset when they found out I had it. But then I just kept...
You kept going?
Yeah. And it became, yeah.
What were some of the other records that sort of opened your eyes that were like, wow?
I mean, at that time, I was just going after whatever was cool. Okay. So like AFI, Linkin Park, like bands like that. And then once I started actually like digging in, I got really into Manchester Orchestra, which I took a record from your office.
Oh, good.
And like Jeff Buckley, and then I started getting into like more classical guys like Johnny Cash and The Doors and people like that.
Nice. That I can't imagine what that was like, but I can also imagine how exciting it must have been to have access to all this. And
yeah, I was like, oh, music can be good. Oh my God, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure Johnny Cash made a couple faith-based records as well.
Yeah, he definitely has some. Yeah.
But so you literally honed your chops doing these shows in prisons and other places. When did you finally make that decision, or were you allowed to make that decision? It's like, I'm doing my own thing now. This is what I want to do.
I think my parents like realized pretty early on that was going to be the case, because I mean, I pretty much dropped out of high school.
Okay.
But they definitely respected the fact that I was like going after music so hard. I was always writing or playing or doing something. And so like my first show I played was when I was 16 at a Chick-fil-A. They had an open mic night at a Chick-fil-A, and I won Chick-fil-A for a year. So that was my sign from God.
There we go.
You got this.
That is fantastic. We are visiting with Matt Maeson, who is in town to say hello to all of our River listeners. Think we're going to have him down at the Record Exchange. I'll confirm that with Kit before this is over this afternoon, if you want to come down and say hello, which I think you should do. All right, could we hear another song?
Yeah, sure. This one is off my EP, The Hearse. It's called Cliffy. Cliffy's cutting close to the power line, but his daddy can't tell, 'cause he's just as high. And I wanna let him know, but I won't this time, 'cause I'm running real low and he's my supply. Oh, so just tell me, are you still hurting? And where did you come by all of those burdens? Oh, so just tell me, are you still hurting? And where did you come by all of those burdens? So I rumble and I tumble with the man upstairs. He said, boy, you gotta stop pulling out your hair. I'm not gonna go away, I am still involved. You ain't drowning me out with that alcohol. Oh, so just tell me, are you still hurting? And where did you come by all of those burdens? Oh, so just tell me, are you still hurting? Bet my life on you. Oh, I bet my life on you. Oh, I bet my life on you. Oh, I bet my life on you. Oh, should you sell me? Are you still hurting? And where did you come by? All of those burdens. Oh, should you sell me? Are you still hurting? And where did you come by? All of those burdens.
Matt Maeson live in the Blue Moon Listener Lounge. That song is from his EP, The Hearse, which you can find online. So you did your first like U.S. tour not that long ago. Is that right?
Yeah, it was in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was by yourself?
I was just by myself in my car.
Is Carmen Elantra still around?
No, she's dead.
She's dead?
She's
That
dead.
was the car you traveled in?
She crushed it though, man. I mean, I bought that car and it had 270,000 miles on it, and I put another like 30,000 miles on it, and it was still going.
And she got you where you needed to go.
It got me where I needed to go, man. It was my house too, so.
Very good to know. And then, did I read you got to go overseas?
Yeah, we did a small European tour.
What was
It
that like?
Sick. We opened up for this band Gang of Youths.
Yeah.
For a
those
couple-
guys are great.
They're sick, yeah.
Yeah.
And I come from they come from the whole church world too.
Right,
So
in
we,
Australia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the whole Hillsong church world. So we had some stuff to talk about, and did 2 shows with them in Germany, and then did a couple shows in London, and then Great Escape Festival in Brighton.
Wow, nice. And now you're back in PR mode. So here's where I stop for a moment. Everybody hears a new artist on the radio, and they don't really think sometimes about the backstory or how they got there, or why that song ended up getting played on, say, 94.9 The River. But you discovered firsthand how that kind of works at this convention I referenced earlier this year, when you were hauled into Boulder, Colorado, with about, I don't know, 100 radio programmers there or something, and you just kind of were, I would have felt super awkward. So I was, just so impressed with how you did everything. But explain what that's like to the listener about as just one aspect of the things that goes on behind the scenes before they hear your song on the radio. Because there you are, getting up early, breakfast with all these people you don't know, and then playing some music for them, in a courtyard. What?
Yeah.
Did you know what you were getting into?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it was like a little weird, but a lot of these things are always going to be a little weird.
Right.
So it just becomes normal.
Okay.
So that for me was just like free trip to Boulder.
Right. In 3 days at a great place.
Yeah. And I didn't think I was even going to play at all, but they were like, why don't you play at breakfast? And I was very hungover playing there.
Could not tell.
So that was rough. Probably added to the emotion, physical, actual pain in there. But it was cool. Got to meet like a lot of you guys before we actually did this run,
Right.
so I got to see some friendly faces on this run.
Well, it was like I said, you were the highlight of the convention for me, and I've been excited to get you here so that we could visit and so that our listeners could find out more about you. Let's see. Briefly, I want to get into this because your videos are amazing, and people can go look for them online right now. But is it sort of a trilogy? Is that what you were telling me one time?
three videos under one like cohesive narrative.
Yeah.
We shot them in Buena Vista, Colorado.
Okay.
We spent 4 days on 3 videos, and they're not under like union, so we would go for like 14 hours a day, and it was awful, dude.
Really? Well,
it was just tough because there's a lot of scenes where I'm like jumping. Like there's a scene where I jump to like grab something on ice, but it's like not there. Like I'm hallucinating, and I'm just jumping onto ice like 10 times, and it was so cold and hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And then there was one scene where I was banging on windows, like trying to get help.
Yeah.
And I punched through the window, and my hand was just like gushing with blood. And there's like a shot in the video where it's just one scene where my hand is bleeding, and then nowhere else. But
really physical videos.
Yeah.
Well, they're great.
Man.
I think people got to go find those. One more thing. Since we're playing Cringe, is there a story about that song you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, so that song, I started writing it before I signed with Neon Gold and Atlantic, and I wrote the first verse and the chorus, and then I sent it to Derek, who's my A&R now, and he hit me up like every week for like 2 months asking if I'd finished it. I wasn't planning on finishing it, and then I was like, this is getting really annoying, so I just finished it for him. And then it's like my biggest song now. Yeah. So that's a good A&R.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
I think one thing I appreciate about your music is it's honest, and it's really direct, and it's sometimes seems like it comes from an uncomfortable place. But I think that makes it immediately impactful to people when they hear it. So we appreciate you coming out today and hanging out with us. Could we get one more song?
Yeah, man. I'll do Cringe, dude.
Perfect.
Lover, come over. Look what I done. I've been alone so long, I feel like I'm on the run. Lover, come over and kick up the dust. I got a secret, starting to rush. She said I'm looking like a bad man, smooth criminal. She said my spirit doesn't move like it did before. She said that I don't look like me no more, no more. I said I'm just tired. She said you're just tired. I said I saw you in the water. Lover, come hold me. Head on the fritz. Got the intoxicated feelings comfortably mixed. Lover, come hold me. And could you forget? I got a secret, digging a ditch. She said I'm looking like a bad man, smooth criminal. She said my spirit doesn't move like it did before. She said that I don't look like me no more, no more. I said I'm just tired. She said you're just tired. I said I saw you in the water. Sweating all your sins out, putting all your thoughts back together. Oh, we just don't blend now. All of my attempts seem to weather. Oh, I make you cringe now. Don't I make you cringe? Oh, I make you cringe now. Don't I make you cringe? She said I'm looking like a bad man, smooth criminal. She said my spirit doesn't move like it did before. She said that I don't look like me no more, no more. I said I'm just tired. She said you're just tired. And I said I saw you in the water.
It's Matt Maeson live in the Blue Moon Listener Lounge on Idaho's 94.9 The River. Find his 2 EPs online. That song's from Who Killed Matt Maeson, which I'll save that question for next time you come to town. And you'll also get an unplugged version, strip version on the Hearse. I'm going to confirm something really quick, Kip. Are we saying 3 o'clock today at the Record Exchange? Okay. So if you would like to come meet Matt, if you've already discovered his music on your own and you want to say hi, come on down to the Record Exchange at 3 today, because that's where Matt will be, and I'll have a chance to say hi to people here. And thank you so much for coming by today.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited about what's ahead for you, and we can't wait to have you come back and get you a real show next time.
Yeah. Boise show, man. Maybe Tree Fort. Never know.
That's personally what I'm hoping for, but so we'll work on that.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everybody behind the scenes. It takes a whole bunch of people to make this happen. All of our techs who were here today, and also Rochelle, of course. One programming note: tomorrow at noon, Jeff Crosby is going to be here with us. This is a last-minute addition to our session lineup, and he's in town for his anniversary shows. And then a week from today, Michael Fronte will be joining us in the Blue Moon Listener Lounge. So we have a lot going on. Thanks to everybody who is streaming us online at riverboise.com or streaming us from your Amazon Echo, and come on down and see Matt at 3 o'clock. One more time, everybody, from Matt Maeson.